how do we approach this game between Wolves and Spurs with our analytical post-game discussion, Shaq?
Well, first of all, let me just get my biases out of the way. I know
Mm-hmm.
Gary O'Neill. I play with Gary, current Wolves manager. I played with Gary at Portsmouth. I thought the decision to sack him at the end of last season at Bournemouth was a desperately stupid one, and it's proving that way. Came into the job late, and Wolves didn't have a full pre-season. First game of the season, I thought harshly on the wrong side of a VAR decision or missed VAR decision, however you want to phrase it. So I'm really happy for Gary and for Wolves and for the run that they're putting together. And the way that they finished this game, because I thought Wolves were good against again a team that I think will finish in the top four. And while you can point to injuries and suspensions, and I think the big question would be how Postecoglou would have his team set up, how they would adjust without Madison in particular, given how important he has been, without Van de Ven, who's long term, and Dyer filling in. I do not think Dyer is a very good defender. But I thought Spurs were given all those things. I thought Postecoglou had them set up really
Mm-hmm.
well. At no point, while Dyer got himself out of position at times, while I think others got the better of him, I at no point did I think it was in a way that where he didn't have cover or Spurs weren't able to deal with, in a sense, comfortably well. Listen, you're away to a very good team in Wolves. So yes, there were issues. Vicario had to make a couple of very good saves himself. Another player I can't help but admire how he's grown over the course of the season. Again, given
Another
my
goalkeeper.
yeah, no, I you know me, Mark. I have to talk
I
about
know.
goalkeepers.
I know.
I to start the season, I didn't think Vicario was up to it at all. I thought some of his early performances were very nervy, but he's been absolutely fantastic. So every opportunity I get to talk about that and hold my hand up and saying I was wrong, I absolutely will. But that being said, despite the differences, the physical differences, Dyer isn't quick over the ground. So my question was, how would Spurs set up? Where would Spurs start to press? You know, you can do that with the quickness of Van de Ven, but maybe you don't want to do that with Dyer. I thought Spurs did absolutely nothing differently and coped wonderfully well. Really well taken. I guess the one complaint is fantastic goal to start with,
Mm-hmm.
scoring in what the second minute or third minute,
Yep.
and then your next shot on target. I think I saw on the stats was somewhere in the 88th. So that's a little bit of a concern from a Spurs perspective. That obviously has to be addressed, but you're winning the game. So I think the focus more is on denying the home team. But then for Wolves, as we spoke about, I thought they played wonderfully well all game long. But then the equalizing goal, I thought was again a thing of beauty. From a quick throw in, the touch, the finish, and then the crowd just ignites. And this is the benefit of playing at home. When your crowd comes alive in that way, how do you cope with that as an away team? How do you cope with that with that rise of emotion? And Wolves just I give the second goal to the reaction of the fans and credit to them.
Final question, and it's to do with Spurs. They were 8 wins and 2 draws in their first 10, and Postecoglou getting 3 Manager of the Month awards. Now they've lost their last two. Where does that leave them with regards to challenging for the title, being a top four team after 2 defeats in a row in the space of 1 week?
I've been saying all along that I think Spurs will finish fourth, and again all along, maybe 2 or 3 weeks into the season, because I did not see this turnaround for Spurs. I thought the way they started, the job that Postecoglou was doing, certainly was a fantastic story. One of the, if not the stories of the season so far. But ultimately, I thought the quality and the depth in particular of the other three that I mentioned would get the better of them, so to speak. Admittedly, Spurs don't have the challenge, if you want to call it, I'll say challenge in inverted commas, of playing in European football. So maybe the depth of squad isn't that big an issue given that. But given the assets of the others. That's just kind of how I saw it. So this doesn't, the last two results don't change anything for me in terms of how I feel about Spurs. That
Okay.
they are better than everybody else in the league, bar 3 teams. And ultimately, that's what we'll see in May.